Hi, Jonas.
Morning, James.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
Do you want me to record you on video or any? Do you have any preferences?
Um, I had a pretty shitty night, to be honest,
Okay. You.
and I've just been up for like 30 minutes. So
That's fine.
uh,
I'll just have me on the camera. It's fine.
yeah, yeah, cool.
Okay. So,
Uh,
where do you want to start? I know that when we last spoke,
yeah,
we were talking about. We started to get down to it, and we had a discussion for a while, and we got down to it that you realised that you had pushed yourself quite a bit. With the
yeah,
boxes and everything.
yeah. I was actually doing pretty well.
Yeah,
I could do like 20, 25-minute walks
yeah,
and so on, pretty much every day, and
mm,
then the box incident.
yeah,
And since then, that was about 2 months ago.
yeah,
I haven't really come back since then,
yeah. It
and so I haven't sort of found my baseline since then, and that's where I am right now. It's really hard to find the baseline,
yeah,
like how much can I do,
mm-hmm,
um, and some days it feels like it's okay to do maybe take 10-minute slow walks,
mm-hmm,
but then a few days later, it's like wham!
yeah,
I'm hit by a train again.
yeah. And how's your sleep?
Uh, Actually, I think I've been pretty fortunate because usually my sleep is pretty good, but then out of the blue, or at least it seems like it's out of the blue. My sleep, like last night, I've just been tumbling in my sheets and sweating,
Yeah,
and um, did you ever have like anxiety and stuff?
yeah.
Yeah,
Mega anxiety. I think
yeah,
people can sometimes get quite anxious about being anxious as well. They can feel like,
yeah,
what is the reason for being so anxious in my body and in my life and everything? And
yeah,
I think personally that anxiety gets amplified when your body's deteriorating or it's under a lot of stress, or it's like with the box incident. I remember if I had done anything like that, I would feel just instant what that wired feeling, where you don't really have, when you're feeling on edge,
yeah,
say someone comes up behind you and scares you,
yeah.
that feeling. Did you have that feeling after you did the box incident, or was it okay, or was it?
Yeah, I even had it during.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I could carry a few boxes
Mm-hmm.
without feeling anything, but
Yeah, then it quickly came.
then I just, yeah, it was like my body reacted to carrying the boxes
Yeah.
as if the boxes were saber-toothed tigers. Like,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
so it's like my body went into fight or flight
Yeah.
by just,
It was pretty much telling you, whoa, stop this right now, I can't handle this.
yeah, and
Mm.
and I didn't, because I still had like 10 or 15 boxes to
To
carry,
do, and you just
and
had to do it, so
and
you just.
I couldn't leave them
Yeah.
on the pavement, so I had
Uh-huh.
to carry them down to my basement.
Yeah.
So my body was like screaming to me,
Yeah.
"Stop carrying the freaking boxes!"
Yeah.
And I just kept doing it, and I paid the price
Yeah.
afterwards.
And it's so frustrating to feel like you're a man in your 30s or late 20s, and you're feeling like you can't even lift those boxes to your
Yeah,
office or whatever it is.
yeah,
It's so frustrating to think that you're paying the price for just lifting some boxes into your office, and
yeah,
that can be so frustrating as well. But when it comes to your baseline, honestly, I would recommend playing it safe and just
yeah,
not doing anything for a while. And it's so boring, it's so frustrating. But I said in one of my last videos, my dad, when he had glandular fever, there was
yeah,
no There was no distractions, and all he did was stay in bed for like a year and a half, and that's all he could do.
Wow.
And at the most, he would read books, learn, study. That's the most he could do. And back then, I guess he was fortunate in a way that he didn't have the distractions we have today.
Yeah.
Where we're constantly engaged. We can just go online and search. We can watch movies. We can watch anything we want.
Yeah.
But with the baseline thing, I think I would personally just get back to your basics that got you to where you were before, you know?
Yeah.
And just having your sleep routine. I know it's frustrating to be going to bed early time and you're just rustling in the sheets and everything, but
yeah,
some people use that as an excuse to go, right, I can't get to sleep, I'll just get up and do something, watch TV or do something like that. But you just have to be so patient. It's so frustrating, I know, but you have to be so patient with keeping your sleep routine and just doing everything you can to relax and get your body to back to where you want it to be through relaxation, guided meditation, audio books. Those kind of things really help me. But what other thing, like recently in the last few weeks, how have you been feeling generally? Just still crappy after the box incident?
Yeah, I mean, I've generally just weaker, both physically and mentally, and also more like
your nervous system's just not ready for it. It was
no,
really stressful.
Let's say that the frame I had before was this big. Like I could do things within this frame, like, and now the frame is this small. So my body just reacts a lot.
It's very sensitive.
So
that's your body saying stop before it gets out of hand. It's like it's letting you know that it's incredibly sensitive right now and it's trying to recover, and it's trying to stop you from doing those things now.
Yeah.
You know, and how your body will react is if when you were doing the boxes it was screaming at you and you're ignoring it, so it's like, right, I have to be more diligent and letting you know that you have to stop, unlike you did last time. It's forcing you to listen to your body.
Is that where pacing comes in? So I have to increase very slowly, or
I actually don't really recommend pacing. I recommend resting as much as possible. So the analogy I use with Alex Howard and stuff is that you have an iPhone and you wouldn't just charge it 5% at a time. You wouldn't go, right, I'm going to charge this for 5%, take it out and go out on my day and use that energy, that 5%. You'd leave it until it was 80, 90, 100% before you start taking it out. So with your body, I wouldn't use whatever little energy you're actually recovering with. Like, you know, you're gaining a bit of energy and then you just go out and go, right, I have 5% energy, I'm going to use 4% of it. I personally recommend people go, I have 5%, I'm going to keep that. I'm going to just keep building upon that. I personally didn't walk for a good 6-7 months before into my recovery of just doing it day in, day out, where it got to the point where my body was aching for a walk. And I did a 15-20 minute walk, and then the next 3 days I was like waiting to see if my body was gonna, you know, where it hits you, you know, the delayed hit. And when it got to the point where I never got that delayed hit, I started gradually pacing. But before then, I wouldn't recommend pacing, especially in your situation where you are feeling the way you are. So I think it's all about judging it, you know. Don't force yourself to do something just because you believe it will be beneficial for you if you're feeling the effects afterwards. Do you see what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, and that's the hard thing, because
it really is.
I mean, something inside me tells me that it's good for my body to get some movements and to get some fresh air. So I go for like a 10-minute slow walk, because I tell myself that it's good for me, it's good for my body to move and to get fresh air.
Don't tell your body that. Go off how your body's talking to you.
Yeah.
Like when I was in the situation you were in, when I used to go for walks, I'd feel really shaky. Like it was
Yeah.
just too much for my body, and I had to
Yeah.
accept that my body wasn't where I wanted it to be.
Yeah.
So don't think up here. Just like feel it in your body. How is it making you feel? Are you feeling better? Are you feeling? Is your body enjoying it? Like what's the feeling in your muscles and your bones and everything? Go off how you're feeling rather than how you're thinking, and that's how I would recommend it. Going off how you're actually feeling rather than thinking this is good for me. I need the fresh air. If you need some fresh air, I'd just sit outside,
Yeah.
or have the windows completely open, or just do movements around the house while you're like cooking food. Just nothing too strenuous.
Yeah.
But don't make it a job to do some kind of activity outside the house if you're really feeling your body's telling you no.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. And I think there's also the question of, am I doing enough?
Of course.
Am I doing enough to recover? And when I don't feel better, let's say 2-3 weeks, and I've been really calm, and I've been doing the EFT and the stops and I've been good to myself, but still I don't feel better at all. Then I always start questioning, like,
of course,
am I doing enough, or do I have to do even more to get better, or is recovery actually just this freaking slow?
It really is slow. It really is slow. It's the frustrating thing. I think we get caught up in this idea that if things aren't moving fast enough, we have to do more.
Yeah.
Like my dad, he just sat in bed. Like our brains, how we are, and how you are in recovery. Our brains are saying you're being lazy, you're not doing enough.
Yeah.
And I think it's this achiever like mentality we have. Like, let's say with your what's the sport you love doing, surfing and stuff?
Yeah.
Like that probably took a lot of dedication to get where you are, and you really wanted to achieve your best, and you're taking that same mindset with recovery. Like I have to be doing more. This ain't working quick enough. Recovery is so painfully slow, and I think there always are things you can add to recovery that you can do. Like, let's say we'll talk about what's your routine day to day now, and I'll see if I can add anything to it. But I think it's letting go of these expectations you have on yourself, not expecting too much, but understanding that you're working to, like, doing the right things is never going to be wrong towards your recovery. Like, it's never going to hinder your recovery to do AFT, so you might as well do it. That's how I used to look at it. But also we have to talk about diet, maybe some factors that you might need to address. Like, did you ever have antibiotics at all before you
Yeah.
or
I
anything you can think
I
of?
haven't. The thing is, I thought this was a good thing, but I haven't been sick for years.
Yeah.
Not even a cold. Nothing.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a good thing. But it's probably more like my immune system is so hyped up that I can't get sick.
Yeah.
But when I got sick, like, let's say once a year. It was always in the gut.
Yeah.
So I never got the flu, never got a cold, anything. But like once a year, I got like sick in my, what do you say,
Stomach.
like and I've gone to Cape Town once a year, every year, like 7 years for surf, and it was always when I was there, I got like a bug or something.
Yeah.
So once a year, I got sick.
Yeah.
But as I said, never anything else, just in the gut. So then I got antibiotics like once a year.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And you know what? once a year antibiotics. Okay. So when you had those antibiotics, did you go to a doctor? Did they do a test and say you have an infection of the gut, or you have like H. pylori, or just what was it that they gave you the antibiotics for?
I just went to the doctors in Cape Town and said that I have like a stomach bug, and I have massive diarrhea and stuff. Then they just gave me antibiotics.
Oh shit! So they didn't even see if it was an actual infection.
No.
Oh man. Okay. See, this is the little things that, you know, if you're watching my videos, you kind of don't. These things don't get brought up because it's not one-on-one. But that's really bad. That's like when I had acne. They gave me antibiotics for acne, and basically, acne is not an infection. It's whatever reason it is. It's your lymph. You're reacting to dairy consumption. Whatever it is, it's not an infection. When you take antibiotics on your gut, when it doesn't have an infection, you're just wiping out your good bacteria, your good and your bad, and it really messes up your stomach. And if you were doing that every year you went to South Africa, it's no wonder you were having stomach problems. Yeah. So that's something you need to address, actually. And I would recommend, like, I personally didn't do this, but fermented foods you could try, or I did was a litre of water kefir a day. And it's really cheap, really inexpensive, and basically it's a probiotic beverage you brew at home. I can link you some probiotics online that the only ones that did anything.
I can show you the one that I'm using now.
I actually can't see your camera, but you could link it to me.
So you can't see me at all?
No, because if I see you, then it will record it.
Okay. Well, it's called Prescript Assist.
Oh, right. Is that the soil-based ones?
It's got 29 strains.
Yeah.
And,
is that a soil-based one? Because I tried them.
Let's see.
But what we've uncovered really is the fact that you have, before you've got as ill as you are, you took antibiotics every year without knowing you had an infection. Yeah. And our gut health is so important to our overall health. Yeah. So this is something you want to address as well. So I'll link you some videos from there's Dr. Gregor. He has some good, interesting videos on the microbiome and the gut health and the role it plays. And probiotics. So I'll link you some probiotics that I use. But personally, I think that what did it for me more was brewing my own at home. And if you have the time to do it, I do recommend it. Yeah. So these are the ones that I use. They're a bit expensive. That's why I'd rather tell people to go for kefir. But these were, when I was trying all probiotics, these are the ones that gave me like a reaction. They did actually have an impact on my like stomach and everything. Yeah. So it's a 1 billion of bacteria. I don't know what ones you have prescript. Can you type it?
It's called there it is.
I remember I did Prescript Assist soil-based probiotics. Yeah, I'm sure I've had those. 29 strains. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Is it these ones? Because I have bought them before.
Exactly.
And they're actually more expensive, aren't they? Oh no. Yeah, it's about the same really. But yeah, that's like, it's not. I don't see how it's going to do you any harm. But I personally didn't feel any different from them. I guess it's different for everyone. But those ones that I linked to you were the only ones that did anything for me. But kefir is the main probiotic I use, so that's something you could look into. And gut health is so important to your overall health, so this is something you need to look into, definitely.
Yeah, I did what they call a organic acids test.
Organic acids test, okay.
Yeah. They look at your urine to see what your body um, what do you say? Like judging from what your body
Is expelling.
Yes.
Okay.
They can see a lot of things, and they saw that I definitely had candida overgrowth.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So
It's quite common, especially if you've wiped out all your good bacteria. That makes sense as well.
yeah, so I've been on, like, I haven't had any sugar, and I mean like definitely no sugar at all
And it's not making a difference.
for like 3 months,
Mm,
and yeah,
it's not making a difference.
no,
Yeah, it's because sugar isn't the problem. I had the same thing.
yeah,
People harp on about you have to starve the candida of any form of sugar. You know, is it are you eating fruit, or are you not having fruit as well?
no, not even fruit.
Yeah, see, it happens to everyone. They these guys that promote this diet where you're not even allowed fruit, you have to starve candida. It never fixes the problem. You know, So tell me a bit about your diet. Actually, what is it you eat day to day?
Well, usually, in Sweden, our breakfast is usually this, like, porridge and
Yeah,
dark, healthy bread, and like a really, yeah,
yeah,
a proper, like, yeah, breakfast.
yeah.
But for the last, like, 3 months since I've been on this anti-candida diet, I've still eaten porridge, but it's been made of, do you call it buckwheat in English?
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Buckwheat porridge with just like maybe a handful of blueberries, frozen blueberries in it,
Okay.
and then a big vegetable smoothie made of like spinach and
Yeah. How do you feel after you have that smoothie?
I feel okay.
Okay.
Um, um, and it's usually, spinach. I usually put half a lemon in there,
Yeah.
and what do you call celery sticks,
Okay, celery. Yeah.
and
Does it taste nice?
and cucumber. It tastes like shit.
Yeah.
And then like a piece of fresh ginger,
Yeah.
and that's pretty much it. Maybe some rucola and some other greens, and then I just mix it all and drink.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much my breakfast. Sometimes I make like a pancake with buckwheat, like a deciliter of buckwheat, and 2 eggs and some coconut milk, and then so I make like a pancake out of that. So that's what did you have for breakfast?
So when I realised that my diet, like I was eating 40, 50 eggs a week before I recovered.
Wow.
Yeah, I was eating a lot of eggs, a lot of dairy, and I was I was not eating sugar, I wasn't eating fruit. I remember it was so bad that I'd take a sip of orange juice and I would instantly be itching and my skin would get a bit like inflamed, and I reacted to sugar instantly, and I was like, see, I have to go anti-sugar. I have to get off the sugar because my candida flares up instantly. I can't take it. So what ended up happening for me is that I realised, like you, that you've been on this diet for 3 months and you feel like it's not changing anything. Now, that could be other reasons. It could be the probiotic thing. Maybe you need to introduce some bacteria through water kefir or something like that. It's not going to hurt. But what I realised is that I started looking more into personal success stories with Candida rather than the big channels. Of, people with, I don't know, 300 views about saying how I got over Candida, and so many of them got rid of the fat and ate as much fruits and everything as they wanted.
Okay.
So I ended up switching completely. I got rid of the fats for a while. Like I'm quite balanced now. I have probably like a very balanced of carbs and fats and everything. But when I was recovering from and getting rid of candida, I'd eat 4 or 5 bananas for breakfast with some dates. I'd have some porridge replacement because I was sensitive to oats at the time.
Yeah.
It was like buckwheat and like rice flakes and stuff like that. I'd have porridge replacement with blueberries in and stuff. Maybe some seeds, but on the whole, I started introducing the sugars again and lowering down the fats. Now, there are some videos that are saying that basically what happens is if you are in this sensitive space where you've like your bacteria in your gut's not in the best place and everything, you can't deal with the sugars effectively, and the fats coat the cells to not allow the sugar into the cells as effectively. So it's kind of like with this, how I see it. I don't know if you know Dr. Neil Bernard. He does everything to do with like type 2 diabetes and stuff.
Is he the New Zealand guy?
I'm not sure. No, I think he's American.
Okay, yeah.
Basically, the common consensus and the general consensus is that if you have type 2 diabetes, you need to stop having sugar completely because that's the cause.
Yeah.
Basically, what this doctor is showing is that people reverse their diet eating sugar, but they reduce their fat intake and their animal fat intake, and basically it allows the body to deal with sugar effectively. Yeah. Because the fat slows down the absorption and keeps the sugar in the bloodstream, which causes a problem. So with candida, I actually kept eating fruits and everything, and it did pay off for me. Yeah. And I got rid of those fats, especially dairy and eggs. So it may be something you want to consider. So if you've done it for 3 months and you're seeing no change whatsoever in like your candida and stuff, what have you got to lose really, other than to try it? Yeah. So like whole foods, I wouldn't recommend like getting 10 bananas in a smoothie or anything like that. But just eating the whole foods. Yeah. I'll have to find you those people. I'll have to find you the people that recover from candida, because they're good testimonials of people like you and me that have had it and going through it and then recovered the other side, and they're the people that I listen to, and that's when I felt much better, rather than the big channels that are like, don't eat sugar, don't eat fruit, have a very, no fruit and sugar. Yeah. Because they're trying to say that feeds candida and you'll have an issue forever if you don't stop eating the sugar, which I didn't find was true at all. It kind of just masks the problem, if anything.
Yeah, because for me, I've also noticed that I very easily get low blood sugar now on this diet. It's like, you know the feeling when you have low blood sugar? Yeah. You get a bit shaky and irritable and everything. Mm-hmm. I get that really easily now. Yeah. So, I mean, even if I eat quite a lot of food, let's say for lunch, and then
you still feel like that.
I have low blood sugar anyway.
And people talk about carbs causing a roller coaster of blood sugar. Yeah. But what it sounds like with you, it sounds like you're having a similar problem, maybe just the opposite, where you just have your blood sugar's so low that you still feel like crap. Yeah. Like, from what I've read, everything causes somewhat of an insulin spike, so I just think that people are searching in the wrong places when they're just trying to avoid fruits and completely, because how I saw it is how can something that tastes so appealing to us in its natural form be so wrong for us? And I started to find people like Dr. Robert Morse and all these testimonials, and that's when I switched over to more fruit-based eating, and I felt so much better for it, and I personally think you should try it. Yeah. Yeah.
What did you say, Robert Morse?
Yeah. He's like, I don't endorse everything he says, but he does help a lot of people that listen to his advice. Also, I'll have to link you some other ones. John Berg's a good one. He endorses whole plant foods. He's really useful.
Who was the American guy? Bernard or
yeah,
something?
Dr. Neil Bernard. I'll type these in.
Yeah.
Also, if you check, there's a documentary like Forks Over Knives and stuff. They're quite good. Dr. John Berg. If I think of any others, I'll show you. But even though there's these doctors and stuff, I still prefer the testimonials of people that have lived it, because at the end of the day, if they've come out the other side, I really want to know what they've done.
Yeah.
So I don't think you should be as scared of fruit that they're trying to fearmonger it to be, because I was at that point as well, and I switched over and I felt much better for it.
Yeah. So where did you get your fats then? If you
my fats were very minimal. I didn't always keep to that. It was only for probably 3-4 months where I kept my fats very minimal. I probably had 5-10% of my calories from fats, and I didn't get them from any oils, no oils, and it was always from like flaxseed, chia seed, what else? Coconut, things like that. But I kept it as minimal as possible. I mainly ate carbohydrates.
Yeah.
And I ate every 2 or 3 hours. Especially when I felt that wired feeling, I ate every 2 or 3 hours.
And then what did you eat? Because I think it's easy to make lunch and dinner, but snacks and stuff in between. I find it really hard to.
Like when things that I would have would be for snacks, because I dedicated everything, like all my time to this. I would tend to just have bananas for a snack, dates for a snack, apples for a snack. Sometimes if I was feeling like I craved a bit of fat, I'd have peanut butter on apples. Then I'd have the porridge replacements with berries. So
you had nuts and stuff.
Yeah, not too many though. Just stuff like on top of porridge, a bit of sprinkle like pumpkin seeds and stuff. I would make banana pancakes with just like the oat replacement, which I then later went to oats when I was less sensitive. But like you can do it with gluten-free oats. That's another thing. Gluten-free I really recommend as well.
I've been gluten-free like totally for at least 6 months.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So it's that's not the issue anymore because you're following that through. So banana pancakes was like, bananas are like the egg replacement. So it's like bananas, oats, and a bit of milk, and then you can cook that as a pancake. They taste really nice. You can chop bananas up and put them in the freezer and then blend them if you have a good enough blender, and that makes like ice cream consistency if you're really craving something nice. Like my video before, I'd roast like tomatoes, sweet potato, and then I'd have beans and steamed vegetables. I didn't have any green juices during recovery because I personally felt I hated the taste of them. And it was hard effort getting them down, and I always felt worse after them. That's for me personally. I felt worse after them. What else did I have? I had also, when I craved, there were these gluten-free pies that I could buy when I was craving something different. I did keep it quite simple, and every time I was hungry, I just kind of snacked on bananas and stuff. Where I live, like Lidl and Aldi, do you have that in Sweden?
No.
Okay, but it's like a cheap kind of supermarket, and you can buy 100 bananas for like £11.
Wow.
Yeah. And I don't. What currency do you use in Sweden? Is it krona or is it Nor? Okay, pound to Swedish. So £11 would be 121 kroner
Yeah.
for 100 bananas.
Yeah.
So yeah, you get so much for your money with bananas if you can find that.
I've just stayed away from bananas and stuff because I thought it was too sweet. So yeah.
I recommend you experiment. Also,
Yeah.
if what I did before I switched from my higher fat diet, I fasted for like a day and then I did it. I don't know whether that's just complete bullshit. I thought I would give my body a slight rest before I started something brand new.
Yeah.
So don't expect to feel much better the day or two after. Just see how you feel a week or two in. But yeah,
I'll
it's
definitely try it. Yeah.
yeah, it's like, you know, Rubik's cubes.
Yeah.
You have to constantly change and modify things if it's not working. So if you're 3 months into the anti-candida diet and you're just like nothing's happened, you know, obviously if you can relate to the you've pushed yourself with the boxes, that could be the cause of it. You're not sleeping as well. Those could be contributing, but I wouldn't be scared of trying new things. Don't believe people outright that say, oh, don't have fruit, it's bad for candida, because there's other people that are recovered on fruit-based diets. Another channel is that I used for motivation was Arnold's Way. It's just testimonials of people that have been on years of antibiotics for, let's say, Lyme's disease, and then like 80-90% recovered in like 6 months. You know, there's a lot of testimonials of people, and you'll find someone that has a similar story to you on a fruit-based diet. So, you know, be open to trying anything.
Yeah,
for sure.
And what did you do except reading, James? Like,
reading.
Yeah, like if you're not using your phone and you're not watching television, then
okay, so the majority of the time, this was actually good for me. My grandma lives nearby and she walked around every day, and I would sit on the couch and just listen to her talk for 2 or 3 hours a day. And usually I'd be like, I can't stand that, you know, it's so boring. But it was something to occupy my time with. Other things I would do would be, once a day I'd do a guided meditation, listen to an audiobook if I was really bored. But if I was really, really, really bored, I'd watch light-hearted things on my computer, like Family Guy, The Office, Idiot Abroad, things that kind of made me laugh or made me feel better, you know. And it wasn't engaging, it didn't make me feel engaged. Like, say we have a computer game like Call of Duty, you're engaged, you're in the you're shooting people and stuff, it keeps you wired. Anything that kept me out of that wired feeling, I would do that for an hour or two a day, to keep my sanity. But outside of that, I would have a rule where I wouldn't touch any technology until 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And after that, I would have sparingly used my computer to, if I was really, really bored, I would use audiobooks, I would read, and if I felt like I had the mental capacity to try and play some guitar, I'd do that. But overall, it was very boring. It was very boring, and people don't like to hear that. But the thing is that imagine if you, the way you're feeling now, Jonas, imagine if you felt that way 100 years ago, what would you be doing? You wouldn't have a choice. Do you see what I'm saying? At any point in history, no one had a choice when they felt bad. They would rest. And I think that's why it's such a problem now, is because people can avoid resting if they're bored. People get very bored easily, so they can avoid it. Do you see what I'm saying? Yeah, so definitely. Go on.
How did your because to me, I mean, I would love to listen to my grandma, for example, but it's just that for me, giving someone else of my attention is just
draining.
So, for example, I can't really call anyone or even text anyone because my body just reacts to
negatively.
It's my brain doesn't want to give anyone
Any energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if my phone rings,
Yeah.
it's like my body reacts with
Like,
fight or
no.
flight.
Yeah.
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 If I talk to someone, I just feel panicky by talking.
I think you need to listen to your body, because that's what I did as well. It got to the point where even the post when they post the post, through the front door, I would get into fight or flight from that.
Yeah.
Listen to your body,
And how did these things sort of go away for you? Like anxiety and these fight or flight reactions, did it go away gradually, or?
Yeah, it was the fight or flight thing. It's weird. It's like I used to. So it was a combination of things. When I was talking to a psychologist, I got to the root of many things. I was anxious, and I had someone to talk to about all my worries in life, and that helped. I went to a chiropractor, and she got rid of all my tension in my neck. She said it was the worst she'd seen in her career. That helped. Eating properly, so it was in inflammatory foods. Not having, not depriving myself of, the fruits made me feel good, and when I was depriving myself of them, I didn't feel good when it was when I was on my old diet. What else? Going to bed early, having relaxing detox baths, all these things slowly dissipated that fight or flight, when my body's like, right, we don't have to be in fight or flight anymore. We can be in this calm space and realize that nothing's going to threaten us now. I had a safe space that I could heal in, and that's when my fight or flight went away. But anxiety was something that decayed over time. I didn't leave my house for years. My anxiety was as bad as it gets. If anyone came to the door, I was an anxious wreck. I couldn't even look at anyone. And it's got to a point where now anxiety doesn't play a part in my life. I'm never really anxious. I might be meeting someone new or someone I haven't met in a long time, and I'll be like, oh, I wonder what's gonna happen, kind of thing. But it's not controlling like it once was. I think that as your body becomes more strong and more tolerant, anxiety fades. I think anxiety amplifies when your body's in a deteriorated state. Yeah. That's my view of anxiety. I think that it's not something you just think away. You just go, I just need to get my head around this and just use stop and get rid of my anxiety. It's something that will decay over time when you get more healthy. That's what
maybe this is too up close and personal, James, but
it's fine.
Did you use any antidepressants and stuff?
No, I actually didn't use antidepressants. I tried things like John's wort, natural things. But when I was ill, I found it, even though I was suicidally depressed, I always blamed my situation on that. I was like, I'm 24, I'm living at home, I have never had a job, I feel like a loser, and I have no answers, and I really didn't care if I lived another day. But at the same time, I didn't want to admit that my mental health had anything to do with it. I don't know whether you've seen the interview with me with Alex Howard, but
I did.
I talked about that. I found it offensive that all these aches and pains could be contributed to my mind. But no, I didn't have antidepressants. What I did take from the doctors, though, for a while was Zopiclone, which is a anti-insomnia drug. I really don't recommend that.
No.
I had to get off all drugs if I wanted to recover, and my body to be able to do its job on its own without any assistance. And also the other thing with antidepressants is that I read so many studies saying that they're not that much better than placebo. I don't know whether you've seen those.
No.
But I personally, no, I didn't take antidepressants.
And you said something about the stop.
Yeah.
And what are your thoughts about the detailed stop process from the OHC.
I think that people expect too much from it. I think that it's good. I talked about this on the live stream with Stefan last night. I think it's good to stop yourself spiraling into negativity.
Yeah.
You know, your thought patterns where you're like, oh God, am I ever going to recover? All those things. I think it's good to stop yourself spiraling, but it's also important to allow yourself to feel frustrated so that you have that motivation to change.
Yeah. So did you use it a lot?
Like
every day? Or
no, I didn't use it every day. I what I did do a few times a week was EFT though, which I found useful. Just to sort out my thoughts in my head, and just get out. It was like peeling the layers of an onion, getting to the root cause of some of my depression and everything. Of course, me being chronically ill and in a housebound was a big part of that, but there were other things going on in my life that were a big part in why I felt so depressed as well. So EFT was something I used every week, and obviously I would use stop, but in a different way. I would always try and stop myself from just spiraling. But no, it wasn't something like, right, I need to do stop today. It was just something that I added when I felt like it, kind of thing. Do you see what I'm saying? Yeah.
As it is now, I probably use the stop. I use the brief stop probably 10 times a day, and then the detailed stop maybe 2 or 3 times a day. And I usually use the EFT thing maybe 3 or 4 times a day.
3 or 4 times a day?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Maybe have a little break for a while and see how you feel. Maybe you're overdoing it. Maybe you're thinking too much about it.
Yeah, that's what I think as well.
Yeah.
Because every day I think also, have I used the stop enough today? Have I done?
Oh no.
Have I done enough of EFT today?
Yeah, that's not the right way to go about it. I would have a break for a while, mate. That's almost torturous.
Yeah, it is.
Have a break for a while. I think the problem with these things is that a lot of people that find themselves in this mess are also people that have this achiever mentality. They really want to be great at something, and they take that, whatever it is, someone tells you EFT is good for recovery, the stop's good for recovery, and they kind of take that mentality and go, right, I'm going to do the same with EFT and stuff. Have a break for a while. Let yourself feel whatever you want to feel. Don't judge yourself for whatever you're feeling, and just go without it for a while. See how you feel.
Yeah, because I think I'm definitely an achiever. I've been like that with everything, with my martial arts and surfing and my job and everything. And I know I've never really felt. I've always felt like I need to achieve things to be good enough.
Same as me. Yeah.
To be good enough in other people's eyes. And in my own eyes, so to speak, and also to get attention from others. I always need to achieve things. So now when I can't achieve anything because
you feel your self-worth has gone down the pan.
Yeah, and especially now in the summer when all my friends are out surfing every day and I'm just here. And also, I have to be honest and say that I'm not very worried about putting on weight. I'm more worried about losing muscle.
Yeah.
And I am. I mean, I am losing muscle and I'm getting thinner, which is a big thing for me as well. Because when I was younger, I was super thin. So I had what do you say? We say complex in Swedish.
Yeah, okay. I kind of think what you mean. Yeah.
You have a complex for something. So I started doing serious bodybuilding for a few years just to put on muscles to not look as thin anymore.
Yeah. So you basically all your self-worth, like similar to me, has been based off how others perceive you, your achievements, and you feeling your body, building your body up. And basically your experience right now has taken all those things that have given you your self-worth, and now you're just with yourself. And I think it's a part of it, as well as with my journey, is acceptance of where you're at. And you can get back to where you want to be, Jonas, when you've recovered. But at the moment, you have to accept that those things, you can't do the things you want to do right now, and that's very difficult. And it took me a while to acknowledge that.
It's just it's really hard. But
one book I will recommend is Power of Now.
Is that
that helped me kind of accept the place I was at and understand that not everything's as bad as I think it is. You know, I could have been born in a third world country. I could have not have a place to stay. I could have been born 100 years ago and made to go to war. I could have died by the age of 20. I could have been born with I started getting grateful for the things that I did have and accepting my situation. I think that's a big part of recovery as well. So and I think I should actually be grateful, because so far I've never been bedbound, I've never been housebound in my ME. I can still go to the grocery store, do my own shopping, and I can I can do everything at home, like cooking and cleaning and all that, without recovery is possible as well.
Sorry?
You know that your body is capable of recovering and feeling its best as well. There's no reason why your body can't get back to surfing and doing everything you want to do at some point.
Some days, James, I have to be honest,
you think it's not possible.
Yeah, because recovery is sometimes it seems like I'm doing everything right.
And you're taking a step back.
But still, I don't feel better. So sometimes I just feel like sitting down and crying or something.
I when it comes to that, I'd say just let yourself feel whatever you want to feel. But what I will say is that you probably did you feel that same way? You know, before you had the box incident, did you feel the same way back then? When you were probably in a better space?
Even though, I mean, I was just as frustrated, I think, because even though I felt a lot better than I do now, and even though I could take like 30-minute walks and be more out in the world, so to speak, it still wasn't. It was far from good enough, you know. So, but sometimes it feels like that box thing. Some days I just feel like, man, I think that box thing really broke something in my body, like broke body physically, or did something to my brain, or to my nervous system, and it was just too much. So it's not fixable.
It is definitely fixable. It just needs time, and it is on high alert. Because your body's just made this response like, he ain't listening, we need to up the ante, so he just listens. You know, I think it's a really, I really do believe in the holistic approach of just looking at all aspects of your life, from where you've got your self-worth from, and your probiotics, and how you're going to need to fix the damage done by antibiotics when you didn't have an infection. Just all these different things are all part of the puzzle, Jonas, that you need to have more like explore. Do you know what I'm trying to say? But definitely try the not being so restrictive on the fruits. Listen to the Power of Now, and maybe see if you can get some water kefir. I'm sure you can, and see if you can start brewing it. There's loads of videos on YouTube. I plan to make one tomorrow before I go away. But you've got some things to go away with and explore now that could help you towards recovery. But those are definitely some big points there. What you were saying with where you've got your self-worth from, and the antibiotics year after year in South Africa. Your body's like, it's every year your body was just taking more and more of a beating. And there was no infection. It was probably just a stomach bug.
Yeah. So you didn't use anything else than like EFT and the stops, and you went to a psychiatrist, and that was pretty much
it was it. The person that I used, that I say psychiatrist, was with the Optimal Health Clinic. So she just worked with me on EFT, and you know what? As much as I will praise the EFT or say that it helped me, I think at the end of the day, having someone to talk to, like we're talking now, was just as beneficial to me. Because she helped me realize things in my life that I've been blocking as well. But yeah, just having someone to talk to was beneficial to me, because for a long time I hadn't talked to anyone, and I always kept all my problems inside, which was having a negative impact on me. But no, psychologically wise, no, I didn't do anything else.
And meditation wise?
Yeah, I did meditation now and again. It was always guided, because I just felt like, in the beginning when my thoughts were so clouded and jumbled up and everything, I just didn't feel like I was in the right space to just sit in a room and be quiet. I felt so much better listening to audiobooks and guided meditation. But I didn't do it every day. Some days I didn't bother. Some days, a few days, I wouldn't go without meditating at all. I'd just sit outside and, listen to birds, or sit outside and look at the stars at night if I couldn't sleep. Things like that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's at least I think I'm doing quite a lot of things right, so to speak, but maybe I should also give myself a little bit of a break, because I'm definitely an achiever when it comes to recovery. But it's also because, man, I want to recover as fast as possible.
And I think you have to accept that. What I said to myself is, I came to the acceptance that this may take 2 years. It ended up taking about 1 year. But the acceptance that I had that this is going to be a journey that may last a long time got rid of my desire to recover so quickly. And I didn't expect something from doing little changes, And
I keep telling myself that if I didn't do, if the box thing didn't happen,
you would be recovering by now.
No, actually the opposite. I'm telling myself that if that didn't happen, I would never have gone sort of all the way to the bottom of this. I would never have, because
I guess it's given you motivation to do more things to change then.
Yeah, because things that I've found out about myself, a lot of things, I've sort of found those things after the box thing. And before that, I had actually never been worse. Before the boxes. That was... I mean, I've, as I said, I've never been bedbound or housebound or anything. So I just think going to a very
dark
bad
place
has also given me some very valuable answers.
Insights, And I think it's a very good thing to be able to acknowledge that, not always looking on the bad side of every event. For me, I lost most of my life to being ill and being in the house and everything, but at the end of the day, I've come out of this a much stronger person. I have a lot of wisdom to share with people to help them recover, and I'm helping other people. And if I'd never had my illness, I would have gone through my life like just ignorant to health. I could have ended up with cancer when I was 50 all of a sudden, or heart disease like my granddad, or I just would never have thought as deeply as I do about myself, the world around me, and I question so much more now, and I do look at all the positives it has brung me. It's brung me a lot of growth.
Yeah.
And I think there is a positive element to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It may not seem like that when you're chronically ill, at all, but when you've overcome this, Jonas, and you are surfing again, you'll be a better person than you were 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I pretty much never looked inside before.
Yeah.
And now I sort of have to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, that's really good.
I just have 2 more short questions if you have time.
Okay.
What did you tell yourself every morning when you woke up?
I told myself, like, this is how I looked at it.
Yeah.
There's a quote, like, Joe Rogan said, be the hero of your own movie. And I would look at a day as a day to, I can either moan, I can either complain about my situation, or I can be the person that overcomes this.
Yeah.
I can be the person that chooses to do everything I can to recover today, and have that sense of accomplishment one day that I can look back and go, wow, I've come such a long way. I was like, I'm gonna overcome this. I'm gonna be the person that overcomes this. I'd read CFS forums and stuff, and everyone's just like, oh, we're so ill, all we can hope for is just to have a bit of a bit of energy now and again, but we can never recover, we have to accept that. My thought process was like that, I can never accept that. I can't live my life accepting that. I'm gonna overcome this, and I'm gonna do everything I can. It was like I just knew that there's 2 choices in life. You can either complain and just whine and look back a few years from now and go, what have I achieved in the last few years? Complained and whined. Or I can be a person that's overcome it and made something great out of it.
Yeah.
And knowing that there were 2 choices, and in my life, I was like, how can I not, for my future self, make the right choice?
Yeah.
And now I look back at that person, I'm so grateful that I made that choice, and I wish I'd done it sooner. And the kind of like thought process I had was like, imagine if I put my foot down like I am down now when I was 20. I wouldn't have lost most of my 20s to chronic illness.
Yeah.
But I can't change that now. What I can change is the future, and that's why I'm putting my foot down today. That's done. I'm making the decision like that from now on.
Yeah.
And that was my thought process waking up, is that I have 2 decisions. I'm going to make the right one from now on. Yeah.
So I don't know if I told you, but I didn't have like a final trigger.
Yeah.
I had a gradual onset. So for probably at least 2 years, I've been slowly like feeling worse and worse. So I never had like a final thing that just smacked me one day. And I think that's also a reason why sometimes, some days, I think that, man, I'm slowly I just keep getting worse and worse. No matter what I do, I'm just deteriorating. But then I realized that's not how it works. So, my last question was just, how did you sort of realize that you had fully recovered, and did your recovery sort of speed up at the end?
It definitely did speed up in the end. So the first 8 months were, questionable. Like, I remember the first three or 4 months I had done gluten-free, and I'd done everything I set out to do, and I was getting frustrated because I wasn't walking yet, and I was like, even though I'm sleeping better, and I'm not feeling as dreadful. This the amount of effort I've put in for this kind of return, I was like, this doesn't seem like I'm getting what I deserve. But at the same time, I was like, at the same time, I was going, right, well, what can I do? I can either stop now, go back to my old life, and accept how things are.
Yeah.
Or I can keep doing the right thing and just hope that one day my body eases up. So, I got frustrated one night and I ordered a pizza. And I ate the whole pizza, huge pizza like this.
Yeah.
And, oh my god, that week after, my body was just rejected it completely. I started getting my joint pains back severely, and I was like, wow, I have actually come quite a long way. I just didn't realise it because the changes were so subtle.
Yeah.
You know, you're in your body every day, every hour. You don't really notice the changes that are happening subtly because, you know, you don't see it because you see yourself every day and you feel yourself every day.
Yeah.
But after that point, I was like, wow, I could go back to eating pizzas and feeling like shit like I do right now, or I could go back to the routine that I've been doing that's making me feel better ever so slightly.
Yeah.
So, at what point did I notice I recovered? For me, it was when I woke up and I felt refreshed. I was like, wow, I woke up and I don't feel like crap.
Yeah.
I actually feel like I can do something. That was about 8 to 10 months in, something around that. And what else did I notice? That I could grip things without feeling tired and weak. I realised that I could stand up out of a chair without getting dizzy and my vision going blurred. I noticed that just walking up the stairs didn't feel like I was going to have a heart attack.
My heart starts beating really fast. And really hard in my chest.
Yeah.
As soon as I, like you said, walk up the stairs.
Yeah, I think that's like a symptom of POTS. You know.
Yeah.
All those things went away. Even though I didn't feel really fit or anything, I realised that actually I've been so inactive that of course I'm not going to be fit.
Yeah.
You know, that's something I'm going to have to build up. And there's a very big difference between feeling awful and just being unfit.
Yeah.
So, it was about 8-12 months, and those symptoms, that the pain went quite early on, the first few months. The pain of fibromyalgia was one of the first things to go for me. And then the wired feeling went, and then my sleep got better, and then the grip thing, and standing up, and my heart not feeling like I was having a heart attack going upstairs. When all those things were going, I was like, wow, what I've done's worked. It's worked. It's finally worked.
Yeah.
It's paid off. All my hard work's paid off. And that's when I was like, right, I can start doing exercise now. I didn't push myself, though. I always did, say, half an hour walk, check back after the next few days, and see how it worked. And then when I noticed that there was no delayed fatigue that hit me, I realised that what I'd done had worked, and I could actually excel myself now, as I do now. And it was like a year and a half later from when I started this journey, about a year and a half last year, I went on the bike ride for 170 miles over 2 days. And when I didn't feel as fatigued, like the fatigue that I felt after that wasn't even a scratch that I felt when I had fibromyalgia, ME, POTS and everything. Yeah. And then after that bike ride, I was like, okay, I've recovered now. I don't have to worry. I did 170 miles in 2 days. There's nothing to worry about anymore. My body's where it should be, and that's when I knew I'd recovered fully.
Yeah. It's good to hear that it's sort of sped up.
The start process is the slowest, and then in the last few months, it just tumbling really quick. There's some videos that I remember on my channel, the videos where I noticed that every month was a big improvement. When I started looking at how I was feeling every week, was like, I'm feeling better every week, especially when I introduced exercise and sweating and stuff. 10, 12 months in, that's when I was getting more and more changes because my body was getting, the blood flowing and sweating and everything. That's when I knew I'd recovered. But I have to go to college in 18 minutes, so But I hope this has helped in any way, Jonas. Yeah,
it was really helpful, and as my job used to be working as a headmaster, I want you to be in school on time. Mm-hmm. So thank you so much, James. It's been really helpful.
Yeah. Thank you, Jonas.
And I've had all the questions I had in my notepad have been answered, and it's just also good to just talk to someone, because you're the
Yeah.
first one outside the OHC that I've
Yeah.
ever talked to
Yeah.
that has had ME.
Yeah.
So
Uh-huh.
really helpful, and yeah, I'll I'll
Awesome.
I'll watch your videos, and then maybe later we can do another talk
Yeah.
when I've come a bit further.
Yeah, awesome. That'd
Yeah.
be cool. And it would be really motivating for other people as well.
Yeah, great. So
Awesome.
yeah, take care for now, and thanks again.
Thanks, Jonas.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.